everybody. My apologies for starting things a little bit late today. There are some surprises in Facebook land. Just when you think you're kind of getting the hang of everything with this technology thing, like you're like, "Oh yeah, it's fine. I can take my time. I can make myself a cup of coffee. I can relax." And then you go to start and there's a new thing. Updates. Aren't they lovely? Hey, Shelly. Hello. Thank you for being here. Welcome to this Wednesday's live stream art hangout time, also known as virtual art hive time, also known as pop-up art studio time. Thank you for being here, Shelly. How are you doing today? And for anyone else who might be joining us, thank you so much for spending some time with us today. If this is your first time joining one of our virtual art hive live stream experiences on Facebook, well, what do you need to know? Shelly, what do you think people need to know? I'd say you're welcome to gather any supplies you might have on hand to create with us, to create along with me. You don't have to create the same thing that I'm creating. You can do whatever feels good for you. Oh, that's good. Shelly's doing great. Oh, that's a great way to start the stream. I love it. But feel whatever you need to feel. You do you, Shelly. Same for everyone else. Take care of yourselves while we're hanging out today. Don't feel like you have to spend the whole 1.5 hours that I'm going to be live making art or listening or hanging out with us. You can come and visit for a little while. You can drop in for 5 minutes and then go do something you need to do. It's all good. I'm not the boss of you. I'm not judging. If you do want to spend the whole time with us, you're more than welcome to do so. And if you'd like to ask questions or tell me something interesting or share with me what you're working on perhaps at home, please feel free. You're welcome to join the chat. Hey, Nyes. How you doing? How nice, Nyes. I've made you plural now. All the Nyes. Nye, welcome. You're welcome to participate in the chat just like Nye and Shelly are doing. And if you don't feel like chatting, that's okay too. You can just be you, do you, whatever you need to do, whatever helps you do what you need to do to feel good and feel creative or inspired this afternoon. There's some folks who just like listening while they're doing something completely different, like folding their laundry or making their grocery lists. That's okay too. But if you do feel like sharing and letting us know what you're up to, always happy to hear it. So Shelly says this is an awesome place to hang out and meet wonderful people and learn new craft ideas. So there you go. And it doesn't just come from me. Everyone in our community is so creative. Everyone has a different kind of thing that they enjoy or love to do. Sometimes we try new things. Today, I'm going to be trying something entirely new. I wanted to practice before I joined the live stream, and I didn't have time. So, you might be seeing some fabulous mistakes unfolding right before your eyes. And hopefully they're happy mistakes. And when I fall forward on my face, yeah, I'll fall forward anyways. That's how that saying goes, right? But you're welcome to be here. And just a safe space rules apply, same as if we were in the actual physical studio space together, making art and hanging out. Please be kind and supportive to one another, including yourself. Please be kind and supportive to yourself. If your inner critic is making a lot of noise and not letting you relax or hang out today, reach out to someone in the chat. Let them know. Let me know. And perhaps we can have a talk with that inner critic and find out what it wants. If it has nothing constructive to say, then I'll take it and I don't know, I'll do something with it. I can squish it, or we can make art about it, or we can, I don't know, tear it up on a piece of paper, whatever feels good to you to bring that inner critic down to size so you can get back to enjoying your time. The other piece we ask, if folks have been using or drinking, we ask that you come back and join the hive on another day when you haven't been. There's no judgment there. There's just that a lot of folks enjoy using this space as a time to, I don't know, take a break from that kind of stuff. Perhaps it's because of their own recovery or harm reduction journeys. In the end, we just want to know that we can communicate as clearly as we possibly can with one another. And sometimes when folks are in altered states, it's difficult to know if we're doing that. So we do our best, we try. But in the end, of course, no perfection allowed. That goes in art making and humaning. We'll just try and talk with one another and understand a little bit more what it's like to be perhaps someone that we're not. Yeah? Does that make sense? And there's a third thing in the spiel, because it's been so long since I've actually given the spiel that I can't really remember. So there's being kind, inner critic, the safe space. Oh, yeah. If anything happens here that makes you feel uncomfortable in this virtual space, please feel free to let me know, especially if it's me that's making you feel those weird feels. If I'm making you feel uncomfortable, or if I've said something that, isn't right, or pushes a button, or I don't know, sometimes I just say really stupid stuff and I don't mean to offend anyone. And most of the time with everyone, that's the way it is. However, I want to learn how I can human better. So please let me know. If you don't feel comfortable connecting through the chat, you can always send me an email or a message afterwards at info@livingroomcommunityartstudio.org. I may not always be able to respond right away, but I try my best to catch up with everyone when I have the time to do so. Same goes for the chat. If you are watching this once it's been archived after the live stream, if you comment or say hello, I may not know for a few more days until I come back and visit the chat in the archived live stream. So please feel free to keep, just poking at me to say hello, remind me that you're there, and try not to take it personally if I don't get back to everyone right away. Sometimes there are gremlins in the system too on Facebook. Every once in a while, for whatever reason, I don't see folks who are saying hello in the chat. So again, to folks who are participating in the chat, who are watching, listening, if you feel like welcoming people when you see them joining in to the stream, or if you see a comment that maybe it seems like I've missed because I haven't responded to it, please flag me, let me know, because I never want to make anyone feel left out. Okay? Why do I feel like I just chatted? That was like a long... Whew. I'm feeling winded. I suppose it's that kind of day. Hey, Kristen, so nice to see you. Oh, Kristen Frankish, such a lovely person and a huge supporter of arts in Oshawa. Thank you for joining our stream today. It's so great to know that you're there. And folks, Kristen has also helped and support us and get the word out about the Listening to Our Neighbors project. That's something else I wanted to chat with you about. If you're interested in becoming a part of this project, check in with me and let me know. We're going to be hosting 5 workshops over the next couple of weeks, starting tomorrow night. They're going to be Zoom workshops where we connect with people living in the 5 priority neighborhoods in Oshawa. So apologies to folks out there who do not live in Oshawa. We'll find other ways to do workshops with you in the future. But in the next, this upcoming while, we are going to be hosting 5 workshops with folks tomorrow who live in Central Park. And you know what? I can't remember the order of the other neighborhoods coming up in the weeks ahead. But you can check our Facebook events to learn more about when those are, where they'll be happening, and how to join, and how you can be a part of basically inspiring Danny Crosby, who's this amazing artist, to create 5 neighborhood portraits that capture the spirit, the essence, the awesomeness of these neighborhoods, of these communities. Things that perhaps only the people who live in these communities might know about will be going into these portraits. We're really looking forward on highlighting some of these fabulous communities in Oshawa. So please, have any questions, let me know. You can even ask them in the chat. Okay, folks, I'm going to have one more sip of coffee. Cheers. And then I think I need to settle down a bit. So I'm going to do some slow drawing to warm up. Let's see what we got here. All right. Oh, this. That's the thing I'm going to be trying. So it'll be a little bit of an unboxing as well. Remember, for those of you who were watching last week when I wanted to needle felt and I couldn't find my needles, they're here. So I'm going to be unboxing those in a little bit and making some needle felty kind of things. And yeah, hopefully I won't stabby myself, and it'll just be some beautiful, fun wool times that we have together. But, safety first, everyone, but I don't want to jinx it. It'll be fine. It will be fine. And of course, this week, yeah, I'm just going to use good old Bic grip roller pen. And I'm going to breathe, and I'm going to settle down and do some doodling. Yeah. And maybe I'll chat as I do some doodling, but if you guys have questions, let me know. I'm just going to start. I'm just going to fill in the page with designs. taking my time, letting the pen do whatever it wants to do. I'm going to try not to be grumpy with myself. Try not to judge myself. I tell you what, if anyone else out there this week has been having that kind of week, let me know. It'd be interesting to learn how folks have been dealing with the interesting weather transitions that have been happening, at least in Oshawa. It was so nice and warm, and then it got really cold. Surprisingly cold. We know it's coming every year. But every year it's a surprise, and every year the shift to this kind of dark nights come in much quicker than I expect them to. It always takes me by surprise. I wonder if that has something to do with the unsettled feeling that I can have sometimes. Just got to say hello to it, let it know that I know it's there. And then I can get on with the art making. I'm going to take my time. Hey, Prin! Goodness, Prin, it's been so long since I've seen you. I'm not sure if I've ever seen you, but it's so great to know you're joining us today. How are things over there in the UK? Oh, you don't have to answer. I know that's a personal question, but know that we've been thinking about you. Our cities in Canada have been going into lockdown too. And again, perhaps that's another thing that's helping me on that unsettled road of late. Not quite knowing what's coming our way. There's only so much that we can control or manage in a day. I want to slow down with the slow drawing. I'm not really creating anything. I'm trying to be mindful of completing, joining lines, really thinking about where my pen is going. Instantly, one of those things, instantly I feel more grounded. But welcome for folks who are joining the live stream now. I started a couple minutes late today. So I'm just taking some time, doing some slow drawing, some slow doodling to help ground myself and prepare for the next creative thing I want to do today, which I think is needle felting for the first time. And again, if you're joining, you may not have the whole hour and a half to stay and create. That's okay. Do what you need to do and make what you want to make if you're feeling like making things today. You might prefer to do your taxes or bake some banana bread. There's lots of different ways of being creative. Oh, Patrick. Oh, look at that. Thank you so much, Patrick. That's I'm still learning computer stuff. Yeah. So when I see lovely emojis like that, or people, including memes and things in, I have to learn how to do that. I don't know how to do that yet, really. Oh, Annie. Hello, Annie. Deb will be happy to know you're going to needle felt. So good, Annie says. Well, I hope it's so good. Again, never done it before. I've watched other people needle felt. And whenever I talk to folks who needle felt, they say, oh, it's so easy. You'll get the hang of it right away. We'll see. We shall see. And I'm just going to experiment. I'm going to be gentle. I'm going to see, what it feels like. I'm really interested in discovering what kind of, like, what the texture is like, what the process is like, how quickly it condenses. If working with wool in that way is something that feels like, if you have a sense of it, of how it's developing, or if it's just kind of magical, magic art stuff. All the people I know who needle felt do such extraordinary things with it. Now, I have wet felted before, and that was a really interesting process. I think it was Rosemary Oliver and, oh yeah, Corinne, I think, was the very first person I needle felted with. My sister's mother-in-law in Australia who taught me that process. And Annie's saying, Annie's giving me some advice. Thank you. This is a top tip. Keep some tissues or something nearby. There are finger pricks. Well, yeah, we'll find out, right? Safety first, everyone. Safety first. Thank you, slow drawing. Definitely helping me feel more relaxed. Now, I'm really interested in the slow drawing movement that is beginning to emerge. There are many things in it that remind me of, and Annie can speak to this, to Zentangle or Zendoodle, the many different names that it's called. In the end, I think it's just something that every human does in their own way without even really thinking about it most of the time. I think what I love is that it's just a process that asks you to be present. Now, obviously, I'm chatting, I'm trying to keep up with comments, so that's going to be something that's always strange for me during a live stream. But even when I'm not 100% focused on this, and again, not creating anything in particular, just kind of doodling whatever comes into my mind. But even when I'm doodling with only 90% of my brain paying attention to it, still helps make me feel calm. I don't know, folks, if you have your own experiences with this kind of thing, let me know what it feels like to you. Or if you have delved into the slow drawing movement, what you've discovered about it yourself. Because nothing's really new. You might call it something different, but I think all of these trends are standing upon the shoulder of other things that we've always done creatively. New name, new branding. And Shelly, hello again. Oh, interesting. Shelly says, my smart TV, I just put Facebook on, so I'm watching from your TV. Oh my goodness. I'm on your TV. Don't know what to think about that. I wonder if it's different watching my face. Is it my face that's... No, I guess it's the art that's big. There we go. You think it'd be something that I'd be used to from my acting days, which are still with me when I'm lucky. But I've never been one to really enjoy watching myself on the large screen, oddly enough. Most actors I know are the same. We love the process. We love creating it. But when it comes to seeing ourselves or hearing ourselves, woof, That's a whole different thing. We tend, if we're allowed, to sit at the back of the theater when our movies are being screened. We need an exit close so we can sneak out if we need to take a breath. Now, not every actor is that way. Some actors love seeing themselves up, but most people I know are happy to be in the background once everything is released. We're very good at being other people, but when it comes to being ourselves in front of other people, that's a whole other thing. And Shelley says, bigger screen, that's all. Okay, good. Same setup. Good. Excellent. Good feedback. And what are people working on out there? I realize some of you might be at work, so maybe you can't talk about that in the same way. But if you are working on anything that you'd like to share, or perhaps you might have links to things you'd like to share on Tumblrs or blogs or other channels, please feel free to share links. Or perhaps there are artists that are inspiring you. Perhaps you're not in the creating period right now. Perhaps you're just gathering information. You're gathering inspiration. If there are any artists you want to shine a light on, anything you want to share about people or movements that might be inspiring you these days, please feel free to share. Oh, Barb. Hi. Oh, Patrick. Okay. Wow. I look up and there's lots of lovely people here. All right. Patrick saying, I'm writing a review. Oh, what you writing a review for, Patrick? You are our connection to new film and TV things. I don't know if I've seen something new in a very long time since, haven't been to a theater in 8 months. And I know a lot of the festivals went online, and unfortunately I've missed a lot of the new, those screenings, and I'm really regretting it now, considering that how many of the big pictures or independent pictures are pushing their openings until, post-COVID, I imagine, or 2021 at least. And Barb saying, hi, Mary, so lovely to be here. Barb, it's lovely to have you here too. You're such a bright light in the world. Am I? I think you're a bright light in the world. I think everybody who shows up here and participates, even if you're not in the chat, you are a bright light in the world. So I'll put that out there right now. But that's lovely for you to say so. It's lovely to think of brightness in a time where our days are a little bit short. And I think our days will start lengthening up soon here in Canada, but I think we got to hold on for a few more before that solstice moment happens. And Laura saying, hi, just home from work. Oh, hi, Laura, welcome back from work. My cat toys are at, oh, yes, excellent. My cat toys are at Tobin's Cat Cafe. They have a lot of art there, actually, textiles and paintings, other fun stuff. So this is something like I love to hear as well. If you are an artist and a maker or providing or selling some sort of service to communities, especially in this time leading up to the holidays where it could be a gift, a beautiful gift idea for someone, let us know. Post it in the links. Let's shine a light on what you folks are creating and making. And all of us right now are probably thinking about what to do for gifts, who we can support. I always love supporting artists who make things whenever I can. So Laura is one of those makers. and you're selling your cat at Toe Beans Cat Cafe. So I'm sure we can Google Toe Beans Cat Cafe to figure out. Oh, and you know what? The screen is pulsing because it doesn't know what to focus on. So maybe this is a good sign to move on to the next piece. What if I just do that? Will it focus on the pen? Ah, enough. Put that aside and I'll return to my slow drawing and come back to the conversation I'm having with people. So that's the beautiful thing. Don't be afraid to let people know if you're selling stuff. Uh, Laura Ann also has a page called Buy LB, and I think, Laura, you're on Instagram too. I don't know how much you're selling from that, but please, 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 if you've got anything that you've been making lately that you're proud of, share it. I'm always excited to see what people are working on. And Annie says thank you, Annie. It's just good to hear your voice, wanting to draw little tiny things. I know you were one of the first people, I think, you and Deb actually, who introduced me to Zen doodling and Zen tangle and things like that. Again, doodling, I think, is a bit of a human nature thing. I think we all do it in some way or other. But I suppose we don't often think about it or enter into it with intention. That's one of the things I'm looking forward to perhaps holding a workshop on. Not necessarily like a really formal workshop, but just gathering people together. Oh, hello. Oh, this is a whole kit. I'm gathering people together so that we can create and do something with intention and permission, just to be there doing that one thing and not feeling like we have to rush, just fully immersing ourselves in it. So hopefully in the new year, we'll see more workshops coming from the Living Room Community Arts Studio. And Laura's saying, might try to get on their wall one day. Oh, at the cat cafe? Yes, 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 please. Your work is extraordinary, Laura. And it's beautiful, it's whimsical, it's fun, it's profound. It really makes me ask questions. I have a few of your pieces, and every time I look at them, your artwork starts a conversation with me. I love art like that. And let's see. Oh, Patrick's sharing a link here. So interesting. This is where you can find, thank you, Patrick, where you can find Patrick's reviews. So Patrick is one of those fantastic, a writer, a fantastic thing to be no matter what. But just I feel like a self-starter in the sense of you knew what you wanted to do, and you were one of the first people to, well, not one of the first, but you connect with artists. There's kind of a beautiful fearlessness about what you do, and not just major artists who are working in film or TV, but you love giving voice and shining a light on independent productions. And I cannot overstress how important it is for projects like that, all the independent projects, to have that kind of showcasing, because those kind of things don't get a lot of attention on the main stage, right? And there's not a lot of money to hire people to promote or publicize. But hearing a voice, like, to really look at a film, again, similar to what I was saying about Laura, whenever people can start conversations about art, that is such an exciting, beautiful thing. And you do it with film and TV too, I think. Oh, I gotta revisit your site. Thank you for posting the links to it. So have Cheetah Will View WordPress.com. Click on that, folks. Have a visit. If you want to go over and check any of these things out during our live stream, I'll be okay. You can always come back. I'll still be here. And Annie's saying, also good to hear your silence. That's lovely. Thank you for that. Oh, interesting. And Patrick is saying, reviewed an all-Canadian cast film. I'm trying to look. I need to stay on the live stream, although I'm so tempted to click on the link to find out what it is. See, again, you're up. I love if you're also so up on Canadian cinema as well. That's such a beautiful thing. Thank you for that. As a friend, one of our friends are neighbors to the south, American. It's always good to know that our work is appreciated beyond our borders. Oh, yes. So back we are talking about sales, and we're focusing, at least in the Tuesday live streams, we will be chatting with a few artists over the next few weeks, and I'm going to be trying to promote other artists that I know and love as well, who are selling their work. And I'm looking at these needles, and I'm trying to figure, I'm just going to dive in. There's a lot of interesting things in this little kit. Wow. What's this? Okay, that seems like a basic one. This seems like a basic stabby tool. This is almost like an awl, so I'll put this aside. Yeah, for anyone who's out there looking at uh, Patrick, yes, I know. So Patrick is acknowledging, thank you. Getting back to that, the doodling is a relaxing thing to do, absolutely. And oh, Prin sharing your Instagram, excellent, thank you. So _Cur5 on Instagram, thank you, Prin. If I don't follow you, I'm going to go do that right after. Watch for the living room following you. And Prin, you're an artist working in the UK. I've heard amazing things about your projects, but also about your community engagement work, because you're another person who's out there looking for ways to provide platforms for underserved or underrecognized voices. Yeah, I'm a fan. I'm a fan, even though I've never met you before. And Patrick, again, still waiting for you, Mary, is what he says. And there's been a long-standing promise that I've given him to make to like do an interview with him for him, and it's what 2 or 3 years now. I will. I promise you, I will. It's gonna happen. And Prin is reworking some old skateboard decks that have been kicking around since 2016. Nice. Good way to start my mojo, though. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. I love the skateboard deck art it's gorgeous. And even if you don't rework it or repurpose it into an actual skateboard, just having a deck on your wall is such a great thing. Someone made one for the living room once. It must be somewhere in my art office, which is really just a storage space right now for stuff I haven't been able to unpack from the studio space. All right. I'm looking at all these needles. There were many more needles in here than I expected. I'm just going to dive in with one of them and see what happens. And Patrick's saying, I want to interview you very much. Well, that's very kind. Let's try this one, shall we? And it will happen. I promise. Oh, yes. So Prin's saying, oh, that's great. Patrick just followed Prin. I love it when artists cross-pollinate in this way. It's great to shine lights on what people are doing. And Prin is one of those amazing creators. So I'm going to just choose a needle at random. No idea what I'm doing here. I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to grab some wool. And Prin does, oh yeah, that's right, battle lines. Prin hosts or facilitates this experience called Battle Lines, is Prin's event on Instagram and Facebook. It sounds amazing. So look at that. So I'm pulling out some of the tools of the trade for needle felters. I have never done this before. Never. But there's always a first time, so might as well do it with community, right? Let's see. So a lot of these things, these are beautiful things that were donated to the studio. And sometimes when we get little things like this, I put them aside for yard sales, or I might hold on to them. For workshops and hope that we get more in so we can do something. Ooh, why don't I just do that? Look at all that beautiful, colorful wool. I always in the back of my mind have this hope that we'll get enough of one thing in that we can do a workshop. Or sometimes when we are lucky enough to have funding, we can do something, we can purchase supplies. But most times, of course, which is such a wonderful thing, we use donations. So these are some that were donated. And so you see this beautiful, this is roving. Is that the word correct? Me needle felters out there if I'm getting this wrong. But yeah, beautiful roving, which is wool that has been dyed, washed and carded and dyed. And for folks who do not want to work with wool, because as a vegan I can understand how that would be strange, you can actually source needle felting wool or wool for knitting from sheeps who live on sanctuaries. So there are lots of ways to do it sustainably and ethically, and there's also acrylic needle felting wool that's available as well. And if you have pets or dogs, cats or dogs, apparently you can also needle felt with some of their hair. And I plan on experimenting with needle felting with cat hair if I can get through this without stabbing myself too much. All right. And this is it. Oh, that's great. People do connections. So Prince saying we should hook up after this mad time and do a battle where you are. I would love that. Oh my gosh. That would be a dream. I would love that. Perhaps a sister city twin event. We can figure something out. I don't know if Kristen's still listening, but why not? Let's give it a go. International art alliances forming, exploding with creativity. I love it. And Annie's saying that, yeah, just diving in is the best way to start to get a feel for the felting. I know it does look lush. Print is saying this roving looks really lush, and it is. I'm just enjoying touching it right now. And I wanted to see what colors were available. I'm going to try something. Let's get some blue. Not exactly the right blue, but that'll work. For folks out there, I don't know if you know, but I believe this is National Week of Trans Awareness out there, transgender awareness. And it's also in the lead up to an event for folks who don't live in a Durham region. Every year around this time, the LivingRoom would also participate in an event called on the Trans Day of Hope, an evening of hope with Durham Region PFLAG, where we would create an activity or host an event that honors those within the transgender community that we've lost to suicide, to bullying, to murder, to horrible things. And without wanting to take this down a dark place, I wanted to take a moment to to say hi to all our friends and allies out there at PFLAG and the people we usually partner with on that event. We're missing being a part of it this year. We miss you. And I also want to take a moment to thank all the trans people in my life who have been here to help teach me and raise me up over the years. Because without you, I'm not sure where I'd be. That's a strange thing to say, but I feel like my life is so much better because of you. I don't know. So those of you who are out there, I'm just sending that out there into the world. Okay, so what am I going to do today? If I can, and this might be too much for a first project, but why not? I think I'd like to create a little needle felted heart. That looks like it's already been needle felted a little bit, so I might try and separate that. And if I can do it in the trans flag colors, I will. Now, what are the trans flag? It's the pink, blue, white. Is it pink, blue, white, blue, pink? Or is it blue, pink, white? Oh, I gotta check. And Shelly's saying, feeling left out, better go do other work. Oh, Shelly, that's okay. Take care of yourself. You know what's best for you. You know what's best for you. And that's the law of 2 feet during this process. No shame in taking a moment for you. And if it means stepping away from the live stream for a little bit, that's okay. And you know what, Shelly, good on you for recognizing what you're feeling and being able to acknowledge it and make space for it in yourself. Especially stuff that might be difficult or hard. All right. Let me check over to here so I make sure I get the colors right. It's such an important thing. I think it's blue, pink. Let's see. I should know this. I should know this. And there might be people out there too, like just to give voice to that experience that Shelley named of feeling left out or feeling perhaps like you're not sure where your place is. I suppose that's a really beautiful thing to honor as well, right? There's so many moments throughout our day-to-day where it's difficult to advocate for ourselves. It's difficult to make our voices heard. The uncomfortable feelings that might just happen because of that, maybe not even because of anyone's fault, maybe because of someone's fault, or a group's fault, or what have you. But if we don't make space for that, to recognize it within our own day, within our own time, I don't know, who else will? And Patrick saying, would like your feedback on my writing. Shelley, maybe you can stop by my blog later. Shelley, that's lovely. If you're still here, Shelley, definitely, like, the links that are being shared are for everyone. Have a look and see. Have a look and see what's out there. Visit other artist pages. Expand your community. That's one of the things that these live streams have helped me do over time. Is really just, it's a nice reminder that I'm not alone no matter what. And that the world is so much broader than I realized. Odd for something like this that has closed so many things down and, separated so many of us. It's taken that to remind me of that. But there you go. So everyone, Shelley included, go visit Patrick's blog. See what you think about the writing. And Wendy saying, wish I had my felting stuff with me. Well, Wendy and Anne, all the other people are out there. Feel free to guide me on this journey because I'm just going to begin stabbing. So that's what this is. So I've kind of arranged the colors in a way that makes sense to me. Now what am I going to do? I'm just going to start poking. Here we go. Oh, and I don't know if I'm using the right... Oh, look at that. I don't know if I'm using the right... the right needles here. This is a total experiment on my part. And I know that certain sites have also recommended, if you want to do a shape, like I'm trying to do right now, to actually... Like one of the sites I think used a cookie cutter. I was looking for a cookie cutter before this began, desperately looking everywhere, and I couldn't find it. Oh, and Patrick wondering how you would do this with cat fur. The same way, I think. After you brush your cat, you would save the cat fur. I think there's some cat fur or dog fur that works better. Okay, folks. This might take longer. I'm realizing this now as I'm kind of... Oh, interesting. This is interesting. And of course, if you use one of those devices that were in the box that has, where you can fit in more of the felting needles, it'll come together faster. So perhaps that's something I'll think about doing, because I'm wondering, this may not be something that I can get finished in the time we have remaining. What do you say, folks? And Wendy's saying, I have saved a bunch of my cat's hair. Going to try it. That's true. And I know that you can also do the wet felting method with cat hair as well. There's a few lovely books out there. So what do you think, folks? Am I so far so good with this experimentation? We shall see. It is an interesting sensation. And I know they say every once in a while just to lift it up so it doesn't get stuck on the mat. This is wild. At this moment in time, it feels there's a lot of trust involved in the process. Because it's feeling at this point like it can't possibly turn into something. I shouldn't look away when I'm using a needle, should I? Let's see. Absolutely. So the discussion about using cat or dog hair to felt with. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just going to stab through this thing here. That a lot of trust in this process. Although I can feel it beginning to come together. Now, I don't want it to be so big, so what can I do here? Can I squish it? Well, why not? I mean, I could try, right? Let's just see what happens if I do. This might be the kind of situation where it looks okay from one side, but the other side is, yeah, let's see. Let's just see what happens. Let's just keep going. Again, I'm open to feedback. So let's see. Annie coming to the rescue. The more coarse the needle, the quicker the joining of the fibers, then a finer needle to finish and do fine details. So let's check this needle. Interesting. All right, let's see. And I should have remembered which container this needle came out of. I have so many needles. I am ready for a workshop. I hadn't realized there were so many. So that seems like a fine needle. The coarser the needle. So the more, let's see. Oh, yes. So Annie says, I love the one that uses 3 needles or 2 needles. You know what? I'll have to give that a go and print. I've never seen it done, so this is a first for me. And flip it. Annie's reminding me to flip it over. So let's see. There are people, you can watch, again, YouTube tutorials about this process. There are lots of folks out there. Flipping it over. Well, there we go. You know what? It's probably, yeah, it's good to flip it over. Let's see if I can do this. That might, perhaps I'll work on solidifying, just getting all the fibers meshed together. And I do have a feeling like this could be one of those things also. Like, I'm doing my best. I'll figure it out as I go. Now, an evening of hope was usually on the 20th, on November 20th. This week that falls on a Friday. So for those of you who are out there, there might be events happening, maybe online events happening. I'm sure PFLAG will be hosting something online this year. Please, if you're interested in attending or participating or taking a moment to honor family, friends, loved ones, sisters, brothers, others in this time, and to perhaps make a change, do something to honor the folks who perhaps don't have as much as a voice as folks like I might have. Check out their sites. And if you know of events and you want to share them in the links here, please do. And let's see. Peter's saying, how are you doing, Mary? How are you recovering well from the move? I'm not going to be here long, but I just really want to ask you anything coming up soon, like the coffee chat when we can see each other. Yes. Coffee chats, for those of you who loved attending, held by lovely Michelle and Nikki. We're taking a break from those for a little while. They need to re-examine things and just kind of find a life-work balance that makes sense for them. All of us are volunteering right now, of course, as so many of us have been for years with the LivingRoom project. So we, sometimes it's important to reassess what we need for our own self-care and to reevaluate perhaps what might be better for the community. So as far as I know, in answer to your question, Peter, and I see Patrick saying Patrick's holding his breath. Holding your breath because I'm using the needle felting materials while I'm looking away. Yeah, I can't blame you. Interesting. This is turning into something slowly but surely. So essentially, Peter, keep an eye out, keep an ear out. They'll be sending out another invite when they're ready to host another group. I'm not sure when that'll be. I'm letting Nikki and Michelle take the lead on that. If they're listening, you can always say something if you have that info. But I'm in the same place you are right now. I just don't know when that might be happening. We're looking for new ways to create workshops where we can see one another's faces. Not everyone loves that kind of workshop. Some people prefer this kind of live stream where they can just visit, dip in, dip out, take care of themselves. But for folks like you, I know there's a lot of folks who love the FaceTime option as well that Facebook Rooms gives, or like the Zoom workshops give. And he's saying maybe I should gather up all the dog hair dusting bunnies to felt. Give it a try, folks. If people are like, if you've got the materials and you would like to experiment, please, 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 please feel free. I would be more than happy to see what you've created and to give it a go myself. I've got 4 cats. It would be great to see them earn their keep through some art. Absolutely. And Squish Annie says it would be an awesome brooch. Patrick I was thinking you could use dryer lint as well. Oh, that's fascinating. Is there anyone out there who is needle felted with dryer lint? If you have, I would love to see it. There's something really, really relaxing about this. And feeling it condense and take shape as you work on it. And I see, let's see, Nicole. Oh, Nicole says, I've tried this before. I had a thimble just in case. I stabbed myself a few times. That's it. So far, so good. And Annie says, I love it. You can only do it right. I mean, that's part of the living room's mantra, isn't it? Or not so much mantra, but something we love to say, like, no perfection allowed. And that's something I've really been thinking about a lot lately, actually. Just, again, revisiting that thing about, just for myself, the fear of, just taking another look at the fear I have. And is it making mistakes? I don't know. Is it making mistakes, or is it, looking foolish? I've definitely looked foolish lots of times. So maybe it's not so much that. But there's something there. I think it comes from worrying, being like the worry about what other people might think or how they might perceive you, or what if you do something wrong? What if you make someone unhappy? What if you make a mistake that impacts someone else? It's an interesting thing, but I think that reminder about art, why we make art, who do we make art for? If I can remember that this piece is for me. I'm making it inspired by someone else, inspired by experiences that others have shared with me. But in the end, this is something that I'm making for me. It can only be that, right? It can only be that. There's a certain joy and freedom that comes when I remember that. And Peter's saying, I can host workshops. Oh, as always, I would be really glad to help, but you didn't get in touch with me. Maybe we should talk sometime. Really wish you had time, when you had time. That is true. There's so many things I'm planning. So a lot of the new things that I'm talking about, where, to be honest, when I'm thinking about timelines, everybody, it'll probably look like after the holidays. And that's just because things happen so quickly. I feel like time is zooming by. So I'm trying to be realistic, and I want to make sure that I take time to think about everything really clearly, to make sure that everything that we're going to do is sustainable, not necessarily from a financial perspective, but from a human resources perspective, right? I want things to have a life beyond the initial wave of enthusiasm that occurs. Do you know what I mean, folks? I think people do. I think I'm just as guilty as anybody about this. I get excited about an idea and and it seems manageable to do. And it's great for the first little while, but at a certain point I have to ask myself, how am I still feeling with this? I need to anticipate what happens when that initial wave of enthusiasm runs out. That's one thing I've learned from the living room. The living room project overall is what happens when I'm having a bad day? What happens when I really don't want to come on into a live stream? If I'm able to anticipate all those moments and set things in place for myself, then they become easier to do. So that's just another part of the process, the creative process for me, is anticipating my own needs and being able to envision everything and how everything fits together, being able to be there for other community members when they're hosting things on our behalf, which is always a lovely thing, of course. This is so interesting. Holy moly. Folks, this is so interesting. And let's see. Laura saying, oh, I have a huge collection. Are we talking about... So this, I'll have to just check in with a collection of dryer lint or cat hair. I'm not sure. Laura's saying, I have a huge collection. LOL. Do not make clay with it if you have a cat. Did I miss a comment? You'll have to updo me. You'll have to update me on that to make sure I'm understanding. I might have missed something. And Wendy saying, have done modeling with dryer lint. Modeling with, whoa. So modeling with dryer lint, and it worked great. Let's see. There's a great conversation going on about dryer lint and all the things you can do with it. So modeling with dryer lint, and it worked great. Soap and water. So that's like a wet felting method with dryer lint. That sounds fantastic, Wendy. And Nicole saying you can actually do this with brushed out yarn if you don't have wool roving. The fibers are really short, so it can be hard. Also, if it's your first time, use a cookie cutter and put the wool roving inside and stab. This keeps its shape. Nicole, that's exactly what I was hoping. I was looking for that heart-shaped cookie cutter and I could not find it. So this will be a perfectly wonky Mary heart by the end of it. And Nicole says, I use it to make hair for dolls I've made. That's right. Nicole is really fantastic at repurposing yarn. And I know there are a lot of other fiber or textile folks out there who do the same. And let's see, Laura says, can't wait to try an online workshop one day. Me too. And Patrick saying, it's okay if you don't feel like being here. You are allowed to stay in your own space. That's a beautiful thing to say, Patrick. Thank you. And a lovely, lovely reminder for everyone listening, taking care of yourself and sometimes, you might be listening. Maybe you're not participating in the chat, but having all the feels wherever you might be. I'm just going to invite you to be kind to yourself. And that's all any of us can do. And if anyone listened to the live stream chat that happened yesterday with Caitlin, remember, I should have asked her how to say her Insta chat. It's Remember X Breathe. We were talking about that exact thing. That's especially right now. Being able to be kind to yourself, even during the difficult times. It's like, especially during the difficult times, it's hard. So give yourself time to do what you need to do as well as feel what you need to feel. And if that's taking a break from this, doing something else that makes you feel good, that's okay. That's okay. I think everyone who's participating in the chat here knows that. Everyone who's listening knows that. It's easier to practice with ourselves, so much easier to tell other people, but difficult to practice with ourselves. There's never any shame in doing what you need to do for yourself. And my feelings will not be hurt. I'm just going to be here doing this weird needle felting thing. Aw. And Laura says, oh, Shelley's back. Hello, Shelley. Welcome back. And just touching upon the lint, the dryer lint art making. Yeah, we're there, folks. Laura says, my lint clay smelled like wet cat because it was using... All right, Laura, I know you need to go to pick up M, but if you want to share a recipe for this dryer lint cat hair clay, I would love that. That would be a very interesting thing. And Shelley, just welcoming you back, Shelley. Shelley saying felt awkward a bit, and that's okay. I think there's lots of people here who can relate to that. And sometimes when we share those truths, especially when we share feelings, that's when, that's a prime time for weirdness to sneak in, for that awkwardness to sneak in. And it's okay. It's funny, the different ways we can make ourselves seen and heard. We're still not used to it, all of us, are we? Sometimes, I think even for those of us who've been practicing for a long time at accepting, radically kind of loving ourselves and accepting ourselves, it can still feel so difficult to be okay with not only feeling things and not only acknowledging our feelings, but voicing those feelings. That takes a long time, and it's a relationship we build with ourselves, isn't it? But Wendy says, glad you're back. Glad you're back. Yeah, the sharing of feelings, the feeling awkward. There's beauty in being able to acknowledge that. How often, and this is something, folks, feel free to let me know. How often do we feel like we can really talk about what we're feeling without fear of judgment, without fear that someone will reject us, without fear that it'll color the way they look at us? Maybe this will become an ornament. It's feeling very ornamenty. I didn't mean for it to be so flat, but you know what? I'll work on the three-dimensional stuff. This has given me an incredible new appreciation for anyone who does three-dimensional will felting. Ho, 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 ho. Do I want to? Maybe not, but maybe I'll do this. I'm going to try and do that poking from the side, folks. Ho, ho, ho. Oh, okay, now I see. This is where the thimble comes in handy. But so far, so good. Did I just jinx myself? I don't believe in jinxing myself. Did I? Maybe I do believe in jinxing myself. Okay, what kind of internal dialogue is this? It's not internal, it's external. I'm having it with you. Let's see. Nicole's saying there's actually a book about all the crafts you can do with cat hair. I also know a person who used dryer lint in multimedia paintings. They put pieces where clouds and trees were, then painted on top. That's fantastic. And Patrick saying, guess belly button lint is a no-no. I don't know. Is it? I suppose it depends. There's a lot of things involved there, but you got to examine it from all sides. Like if it's a very special gift for someone that you know, then and of course with anything like I suppose would you wash it? It's what's that saying in film? It's always a yes until it's a no. So only you can answer that question truly. Shelley saying, I feel even when I share. I'm nervous of being judged, but just do it so I get it out instead of letting emotions build up. Okay, I'm going to take a break from needle. Oh, no. A break from needle felting to say, yes, thank you. That's it, isn't it? Like if we let them out, if we can acknowledge them and let them out one way or another, that's the beginning to something really beautiful happening within our own lives. We know that our feelings won't destroy us. We know that our feelings won't necessarily turn other people away from us. And if it does, that's usually something that they're doing or they need to take a look at in their own lives, right? It's not necessarily a bad thing. This is such an excellent, excellent thing. I don't even know where to begin. It makes me so happy, but it does remind me of the quote I posted this morning on the LivingRoom's page. Have a look at that and the artist who created it. It has a lot to do with that idea of naming it and being okay naming our emotions and letting them out and knowing that we can recover and return and grow and evolve and shift and change and feel something different at the end of it. Um, Good on ya. That's an amazing thing. And let's see, Carlos saying, I love this. Oh, hi, Carlos. Were the colors chosen for trans flag colors or was it coincidental? Either way, this is awesome. Definitely not coincidental. Just as I was saying earlier, and welcome if you're joining the live stream towards the end and discovering me learning how to needle felt. Definitely chosen in honor of Trans Awareness Week um, and just thinking about, and Carlos, you know, because I think you've participated in these events before. Normally on November 20th, we participate in PFLAG's Evening of Hope in honor of the trans community members, families, friends that we've lost to transphobia and all the things that come along with that. So this year we can't be at an event, even though PFLAG is maybe hosting something online, and I will look and post if they are. And in your own communities, wherever you are, you can look to see if there are virtual events being held that you can participate in to honor friends, families, honor yourself, or be a good ally and learn how you can human a little bit better moving forward so that we can keep one another safe and learn how we can be more supportive of one another. And Wendy's saying, good for you to Shelley. Excellent, right? See, Shelley? And Shelley saying, I feel safe here. Love this group. I'm so glad you do, Shelley. And yeah, it's a nice place when we can feel safe enough to be ourselves, to feel safe enough to be human. That says a lot about where we're at in this culture growing and moving forward, right? We're learning how to be okay humaning. That's a creative art form all on its own. And let's see. And Prince saying hello to Carlos. Yeah, nice, nice, nice. Friends connecting. Annie saying, Mary, can you add a backing felted or... Oh, Annie's suggesting I can add a backing felted or whatever. A backing to this. Tell me more. Tell me more, Annie. Do you mean like adding a backing to make it into something? I remember you were mentioning a brooch, which I was thinking about. Or I'm not sure. Or adding, I guess I can add more wool. There's nothing stopping me from adding other layers of wool onto this to make it bigger, I suppose, either. I'm learning new things, people. Thank you for sharing this experience with me. And Carlos saying, the living room, bringing folks together again across countries. Great to see you on here, Prin. That's lovely. And Amanda. Hello, Amanda. So good to see you too. Amanda, welcome. I know there's a lot of folks out there too who can drop in for a little bit. They can't necessarily stay the whole time because, but even when you do that, just to drop by and say, hi, Amanda, it's so great to see you. Hello back. And Shelley saying, love the craft you're doing, Mary. Well, thank you, Shelley. It's an experiment. And an experiment and adventure in needle felting, which is I'm beginning to fall in love with in a very wonky way. And Nicole saying, I always seem to feel pressure when I use an adult coloring book. Interesting. Okay, new subject, love it, but new subject, but not. I'm really excited since one of my favorite artists has released one of their own. They use all random colors to do their buildings, so it'll be fine. So it'll be the first time, boop, 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 see more please. First time when using different colors will be accurate. So the first time when Nicole's using different colors than what the world expects, that will be exactly what is expected. Yeah, no, use whatever colors you like. What if, like, it's a strange world that is your coloring book. Do what you want to do. Who's the coloring book artist, Nicole? If you want to post a link or a picture, love to see it. Oh, here we. Oh, Operatic Mary is coming out for a visit. Something about needle felting. Okay. Oh my goodness. And I'm also understanding now that I probably should have used less of the colors that I didn't need as much. See, it's all beginning to make sense after. I'm one of those people who learns just by jumping in and doing it, which might be another reason why, and folks are out there who are like me, if you have that similar kind of thing, there's always that fear of trying something for the first time or sharing it with someone for the first time, because process is where I really look forward to making mistakes and discovering things. But I'm not always sure that that's an appreciated thing. So I want to thank everyone who's here right now, witnessing this experimentation. It really means a lot. Thank you. And Carlos says, that's beautiful that you're doing this as a part of trans awareness. Sorry, I missed that at the start. This is wonderful. There are certain things I miss very much with the pandemic. One of those things is having those opportunities to connect as easily or effortlessly with those communities that the Living Room had such strong relationships with. And I know there's a lot of folks out there who, the resources just aren't available. And anyways, there's so many conversations that could be visited from this. But I think one of the things that I love about the Living Room has introduced me to people that I wouldn't have otherwise met. And for someone like me who grew up in a really conservative sort of family, a very religious family, there were a lot of things I didn't know about the world, and I didn't know about human beings, including myself. And the Living Room, using art as that medium to bring people together, the idea of creativity, it allowed me to connect with people that ended up being my teachers. They ended up being people who expanded my worldview, taught me such extraordinary things. And I'm learning new things every day still about what it's like to be human. And I'd be a lie if I said, PFLAG, all, my trans and non-binary friends who have really opened my eyes and opened my heart to things that I wasn't so familiar with before. Things you think you know, but you don't necessarily know. They've been able to, walk alongside me in this journey, and I feel it's so important to do whatever I can, in whatever small ways I can, to walk alongside them and theirs whenever they want or need it. It's just about learning about humans. All the fabulous, fabulous humans we are, and the fabulous humans we can be. Am I rambling? Yes, of course I am. Of course I am. And let's see, Annie says you can add more wool for sure, and if you want it to be an ornament, you can even felt a string or something into it. Careful with the needle. Yeah, I just had my very, very first almost stabby moment, but it's okay. It's all right. And Nicole says needle felting is a great way to relieve stress. True. I can see now what people were talking about with that, little sort of frustration letter outer. That definitely makes me appreciate some of the extraordinary works of needle felting art that I have seen out there. The three-dimensional sculptural pieces especially, holy moly. Entirely new appreciation. But hey, got to start somewhere. This is where I'm starting. This is where I'm starting. Who knows where I'll be? So let's see if I can add a little bit more there. Let's see if I can do that. I want to give it a little bit more dimension. And what time? Oh my goodness, 3:20. 3:20, people. So let's see if I do this. What happens if? What if? The magical what if of art making. Oh, look at that. Look at this. The beautiful heart. And it is a strong heart. It is a strong heart. A strong and wonky heart that has obviously been through a lot. A strong and beautiful heart that has been through a lot. All right. And Carlos saying, I can't speak for my fellow humans, but as a member of the LGBTQ plus community / human race, oh, thank you personally for being on that journey alongside myself and others. Pieces like this bring an an additional understanding and are beautiful to behold. So thanks so much for this. Oh, thank you, Carlos. And Carlos says, oh dear, I rambled in that last comment. Sorry, you didn't ramble. You never ramble. People always think they're rambling, including myself. I mean, I'm right. Everyone else is wrong. That's just how that works, isn't it? And let's see, Nicole, IG2G. Oh, got to go. Pff, my goodness, got to go. Nicole, you're being so cool and hip with me. I didn't even realize. Remember, I'm old. You got to hold my hand when you give me stuff like that. But Nicole says, stay safe, everyone. And right back at you, Nicole, and everyone else who maybe has to go a little bit early. Stay safe out there. Please stay safe. There's only one of you in the world. And it's more interesting with you in it. And Annie saying, good rambling, ramble on. That's Annie to Carlos. And I agree. And Carlos says, 'tis a strong heart indeed. We all have strong and wonky hearts, but beautiful nonetheless. And Amanda saying hello again. Hi again, Amanda. Hello again. I'm also learning through this process how, like, this is, yeah, I can see how people would. This is something you could really get lost in, needle felting. I recommend it. If anyone really likes working with their hands, if anyone, that experience of like feeling something come together shape-wise. And you really do feel like you're guiding it in the process. It's lovely. I love that. Just remembering to use different angles on the needle. Oh, well, let's see. And I think I will have to try it with cat hair. Again, with 4 cats. I'll never run out of supplies. That got a little too. Let's see if I can do that there. Come on. Oh, interesting. I'm getting all quiet. Heavens, can I do that? I'm asking myself questions. I'm talking to myself again. And Annie's saying, I totally love the wonkiness. That's good because the wonky heart. I suppose we all have wonky hearts. Whoops. I can see how it would be easy to forget that you are needle felting and how easy it might be to stab yourself as well. Let's see, let's look at this time here too. Before I forget, 3:23. Oh my goodness. Oh, okay, there we go. Patrick asking, what are your cats' names? Is the interview beginning? What are my cats' names? Let's see. There is Mama Cat, who was the feral cat that we decided to rescue, who'd had so many litters of kittens that we'd ended up taking to the Humane Society. We're really lucky here. The Durham Region Humane Society is a no-kill shelter, and we have a lot of fantastic animal organizations who were able to help us foster the kittens that Mama then had. Except we're known as foster failures. That's the word in the business for us. We weren't supposed to keep all the kittens, and we did. So we have Mama Cat. And then we have, ouch, there. Okay, now I know what's happening. That's a good wake-up call. All right. We have, whoa. Okay, that's, I have to, my settings on Instagram, I updated everything, and that was a mother calling. I have to remind mothers, I have to remind the mothers of when the live streams are. That's awesome. And I will call you back, I promise. So Mama Cat, Mallory, Sweetums, and Kaylee. Those are the names of my cats. Yep. 4 cats and 1 dog named Alice, who has been trained very well by the cats. Very, very, very well. Let's see if I can do that here just to balance out some of that blue. And folks, thank you so much for joining me on this adventure today, starting out with a little slow drawing, getting grounded, and then feeling things out with the needle felting. Definitely excited to have tried something new with you. It's, again, yeah, I totally recommend it for anyone who really likes that sense of feeling something come together under their hands. And Momo saying, hi, Mary. Hi, everyone. Hello, Momo. Nice to see you, even for a bit. Oh, it's so great. Thanks for dropping in for a little bit, Momo. How are you doing? How are things in Montreal? I know that it's got to be cold there as well, or getting cold. Now, here's a question. Is it a cheat if I trim the bottom of this? I might. And Barb saying, oh, hi, Barb, again. Your needle felting heart is very much like our own hearts. Something profound is coming my way. Your needle felting heart is very much like our own hearts. Every day our hearts transform, and every good and bad experience leaves a mark. In the end, all hearts are beautiful. Barb, thank you for that. That's lovely. And Momo says, getting colder, but doing well. Still in my PJs and coding away. Homework. Oh, Momo, good on ya. Coding in your pajamas. I've often thought that coding is an art form as well. I know a lot of folks who code, and I think there's something, yes, mathematical, but also quite creative in the patterns that are created, and just the different kind of the intentionality of all of those symbols and numbers and things like that coming together. It feels very creative. And Barb, thank you for that. How lovely. How lovely. If folks have been following me with these live streams, you'll know that I come back to the heart as a symbol time and time again. Each one of us has a symbol that we're usually drawn to, something that appears in our artwork. And for a long time, I think I was ashamed that the symbol, the image that I fell into, that all my doodles, everything became was a heart. So I felt that it was like so girly and, foolish. But over time, I'm realizing just what Barb was saying right there. That it's not something to be embarrassed about. It's not something to be ashamed of. And the hearts that I create and the hearts I know are out there in all of the work we might do, well, what would we do without them? I feel like I will continue to return to the heart, and I will make space for the heart in all the work I do. And that will be part of my goal for 2021, unabashedly embracing the hearts that appear in my work, the hearts that want to be seen in my work, and not judging myself for them. Over life, I don't know about you folks, but I've become very, very good, an expert perhaps, in judging myself. And judging myself harshly most of the time, let's face it. But I think I'm ready to embrace the heart. Finally. whatever that might mean. So this is exciting. And so from that ball of like those wisps of fluffs coming up, this heart has been created. Oh, and symbols. Momo says, for me, cactus. It's a cactus. It's a desert. Oh, Momo says, I was a desert girl. So the cactus keeps reoccurring in your work. That's fascinating. I'd love to learn more about the symbols, the images that keep appearing or reoccurring in our work, even when sometimes we stubbornly wish they wouldn't. But perhaps that's for the next live stream. We'll see. I love that as a theme, actually. Reoccurring symbols, reoccurring images. Maybe for something involving print or monoprint. We'll see. Everyone, thank you so, so much for joining me today on this journey in needle felting and embracing the heart and the heart work that we do. It's lovely spending time with you as always. Oh, and again, yeah, Shelley's saying dogs or cats for Shelley as symbols that reoccur. Isn't it interesting? I invite everyone out there, take some time to look at the symbols that reoccur in your life. Take some time to just investigate that for a second and see what unfolds if you kind of talk to it for a little while and learn about why it's there. I'm going to do that with the hearts. I'm going to continue doing that, but I invite you to do it too. Talk to your art. Learn a little bit more about why it's there and why it speaks so much in what you do. But for now, even though, see, it's really addictive, you just want to keep doing this needle felting. I get it. All you needle felters out there, I get it. But I think I might trim off the bottom. Is that a cheat? Is it a cheat? I don't think so. Well, we'll see. We'll see. And Carlos, oh, how lovely. Carlos saying, let me go back to the chat here. Oh, where am I? Carlos saying, thanks so much for this, Mary. It was beautiful to watch the process and connect with folks on here, whether y'all commented or watched and listened. Either way, thanks to everyone. This was great heart making. Haha, I saw what you did there, Carlos. Have an awesome and safe week, y'all. And Shelley says, it's always a pleasure to be here and spend special time with this group. Thanks, Mary. Well, thank you, Shelley, for being here and making yourself so available to all the wonderfulness and not so wonderfulness that can come when we're connected with other human beings. And Prince says, cheers, Mary and all. Cool to be with you all for this evening. So cool that you're here too. I love this. Everybody, thanks so much for spending time with me. Just a reminder, last minute, if you live in Oshawa in one of those priority neighborhoods that I was mentioning, we do have Zoom workshops coming up. We want to hear your stories. Check out our Facebook events to learn more. And you're welcome to tune in for our Tuesday live stream chats on Instagram that take place 2 p.m., I guess, Eastern Standard Time, our side of the pond. You're welcome to join us then for those chats as well. But until we can create and connect with one another in person, I look forward to connecting and creating with everyone right here again. We'll be back next Wednesday for a virtual art studio, Art Hive live stream. Yes, peace. Keep safe, everyone. And thank you for being here. Much love to everyone. Take care of yourselves and be kind to your hearts. Bye.